That's exactly what it is, though, is it has a power. So I have some number k raised times x raised to the a. So k is a constant that you would have. It's a coefficient out front. It's actually a non-zero constant. Carter, just be quiet. Let me get through this. F of x is a power function if you can write it in this form. Okay, the a is the power, hence why it is called a power function, and k is what we call our constant. What? Of variation. It's a constant number, but we call it a constant of variation. Just x. It's an equation that we would graph. Sometimes this is called a constant of proportion. The power function, the power of A tells us whether it's direct variation or inverse variation when we start talking about this variation. So two options here. Direct variation means that A is positive. Inverse variation would be a time when A is negative. Now, what happens if my exponent is negative?
Oh,
it goes into a fraction. You're trying to listen to her and get her answers, and you can't even listen correctly. It goes into a fraction, so it might look something like this. Okay. So inverse deals with more division, and direct variation deals with more multiplication. Okay, but you're looking at the A. For what? I do, but I'm not getting up to get it right now. So let's look at a couple examples. I'll get these straight out of your book. Is this a power function?
Oh, now it is.
It always was. What's the power? But it's only one piece. It's one term. Just one term. So it can't be this plus 3r. That's not a power function anymore. It's yes. So here the power is 1, we said. What's the constant of variation?
2.
2 pi. What do you mean? Constant of variation. Is it direct or inverse? Direct. Why is it direct?
Because 0.
How about the area of a circle? Yes. The power is 2. The constant of variation is, right? Direct or inverse? Direct. Sure. Force of gravity. Yes. In this case, K would be my constant that I plug in, some value K that's given. What would the power be? -2. How did you know it was -2? It's a fraction in the bottom. What's my constant of variation? A. Inverse or direct? Inverse. Inverse because that's okay. I knew what you meant. Inverse because I'm dividing. Does that make sense to everybody? Do you see what we're doing? I told y'all this is a really, really easy section. Did I have one more last night? Oh, I forgot. Power function or no? What's the power? Constant of variation? Why is it 1? Whatever's in the function. Constant of variation, if it's not there, it's 1. Direct or inverse? Why? 1/3 positive. Yep. Has to be positive. We will often call these monomial functions because we can write them with just one term. Let's see. I think that's about, besides graphing with your calculator. Don't do it through Adobe Scan, do it through Canvas itself. There you go. You have to restart what? Is that the trick?
I'm telling you, if you go up and ask him a question about on the test, he'll tell you the answer.
Mac, which one did you say from last night? Okay, we just did like 12 of them together. Are y'all talking about from last night? So all of them. Okay, 54. Everybody write that one down. So 54 was actually kind of fun. Let's think about a rectangle. This is the length and this is the width. Do you agree? How do you find perimeter? Add all the sides. Length plus width plus width. So this is going to be 2 times length plus 2 times width. Agree or disagree? So it says among all the reptiles, golly, what is wrong with me? Amongst all the rectangles whose perimeters are 100 feet, so when 2 times length plus 2 times width is 100, among all of those, find the dimensions with the one with maximum area. So what am I trying to maximize? I'm trying to maximize area. How do I find area of a rectangle? Length times width. So my question is, I want to get it down to just one variable so that I can find the maximum. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this equation. Why? This is not fast. I'm going to take this equation and solve for one of the two variables. It doesn't matter which one you solve for, just solve for one of them. Okay. I think that I will do, I'll solve for W. So subtract 2L and divide by 2. You could have divided by 2 to start with. 50 minus L. Agree? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and replace the W now in my equation. So would you also agree that the area of a rectangle, this particular rectangle that has a perimeter of 100, could be written as length times 50 minus the length. So whatever the length is, take 50 and subtract it to get the width. No. This is actually 50L minus L squared, which is a parabola. If you put an X in there, 54, and graph it, it will look like this. Because I am looking to maximize, you can use your calculator to find the maximum here. And you should find that to be 25. So if it's 25, yes, that's the height it goes to. If this is 25, that means my length is 25. If my length is 25, what does my width have to be? There's two of these, right? So I've used up 50 of my 100 in lengths. Leaves me 50 left, which means my width has to be 25. That means it's a square. So, and that's okay. Every square is a rectangle, but every rectangle is not a square. Definition of a rectangle is opposite sides of the same length. A square's all four have to be the same. So a square technically has opposite sides that are the same. All right. Which other one did you say? 64. In her first project after being employed by Landscapes International, Becky designs a decorative water fountain that will shoot water to a maximum height of 48 feet. What should be the initial velocity of each drop of water to achieve its maximum height? Oh, this is a gross one. So, yes. Not the velocity equation, but the, yes. Because you're looking for maximum height. So S of t equals, because I'm in feet, I'm going to do the, what is it, negative 16t squared. What's the middle number? 9? Plus 9t. Is that right? Plus initial velocity. Plus initial position. So look at what this says. Right. Well, it says you want it to shoot to be 48. So what would this need to be? Well, where is it happening? It's happening at the what? The maximum, which is the vertex. How do you find the vertex in standard form? Negative b over 2a. What are you doing? I don't know, but I feel like I've lost the attention of about 98% of you. I know, but I would have to actually they're wanting you to do a guess and check on this. In order to do this, this would have to go in here again. We would have to use it because the height's going to happen at the Y. You can skip 64. Okay, thank you, Robert. Yes. 66 you can definitely do. It's in the closet right there. See, I'm trying to be nice to you, and you're not being nice to me. It's the ace key. I-66. So Interstate 70 west of Denver, Colorado has a section posted as 6% grade, which means that for a horizontal change of 100 feet, there is a 6 feet vertical change. So slope is rise over run, yes. So the slope of this would be 6 over 100, which comes out to be 0.06. What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. So then it says, on a highway with 6% grade, what's the horizontal distance required to climb 250 feet? Oh, and Margaret, I read this wrong whenever I read it to you. I read it as what's the vertical if you go that far, but it says how far would you have to go in order to climb 250 feet? So what do you have to do? You need vertical divided by horizontal to always equal 0.06. So if you want your vertical to be 250, what would you need your horizontal to be for this to equal 0.06? Well, you have to divide. If I do it, or you can actually make this 6 over 100. It might make more sense to you that way. So 25,000 equals 6H, and then you can divide by 6. It's easier for me to set up a proportion. I see it a little easier. I hope it's 4167, because that's what the book got. What'd you do? You divided by 0.06, but do you know why you divided by 0.06?
I don't know how I got it. I think I divided it.
Every time you divide your vertical change by your horizontal change, or your rise over your run, it has to equal 0.06. So all I did was I said, okay, if that's the case, I know the vertical change. What does my horizontal change need to be to get? And 0.06 is the same thing as 6 over 100. It's just a little easier to solve there. Does that make sense? Okay.